So a lot of people want shorter Class C floor plans, right? It's easier to park, easier to drive, easier to maneuver, makes a lot of sense. The problem with the industry, though, is that when you have a shorter Class C, a lot of times it's just going to be a lot more entry level, right? You're not getting a lot of the features and things you want. Well, East to West here heard your call, and they answered it. And I think they came out with a great brand new product. This right here is the College Avenue Class C. Brand new line from East to West, from Forest River. They have 7 floor plans in total. And again, I think they did just a really good job overall. There's not like so many bells and whistles that it's going to price you out. But, this one right here, for example, you're under 24 foot and you get partial paint standard. It's gorgeous, fantastic windows. We'll cover a little bit more on the outside. Let's go ahead and head in. This one right here is the 2201. I personally like this floor plan. In all 7 of these, right? None of them are going to be like super groundbreaking floor plans. You've probably seen these before, but it's really the amenities and things they offer that I think really set this one apart. I mean, take the kitchen, for example, right? You're looking at solid surface countertops right here. Whereas, normally if you're looking at a shorter Class C, you may get thermoform at best, right? Maybe even T-mold, depending on the price point, but they're actually giving you solid surface. You have a round bowl sink, but it is stainless steel. You can see that that's going to be nice and deep. Right up above, you can see that you have the 2-tone faucet right here. You also get the 3-burner recessed cooktop. You have the convection microwave oven down underneath, and you have enough storage that you can actually put a small trash can. Now, I say small, obviously you're not getting anything huge in there. But, I like that they kind of give you some good additional space. Something else I think that's huge is, of course, this. Anytime you have a small floor plan, you just don't have a lot of countertop space. And even though this one is under 24 foot, they still give you that countertop extension, so you have more countertop space than what you would get in sometimes even a larger floor plan. Kind of dropping down, you can see that this one does have a solar charge controller. That is a 30 amp. This is an option on the coach. Comes with a 200 watt solar panel and 30 amp charge controller if you choose. You will also see right down here is your battery disconnect, as well as control for your awning and your awning light. But again, right, it's not just the kitchen. I mean, everything in here has been fully upgraded. Like, take a look at this, for example. We have a nice big wardrobe here. I know what you're thinking, Ian, that's nothing crazy, but look, you get slow close, right? Same thing with the drawers. You have soft close drawers, right? I say slow close, sorry, that's from the plumbing industry. Soft close, I've gotten corrected on that before, my bad. You can see right over here, your refrigerator. This is, if I have to knock one thing about this particular floor plan, this is probably it. Here's my thing. I'm 6 foot tall. This is the fridge. To reach the top shelf is a little tough. It's not awful, right? But like, if you're shorter, you may struggle a little bit in this floor plan. I understand why they mounted it high. Again, I don't think it's a bad thing per se. The reason though is that they gave you this drawer right here, so you have usable space. Then you have the furnace underneath. And it's pretty common for manufacturers to put a furnace there, but normally instead of a drawer, what they do is they'll just have like this dead space overhead. So rather than doing that, they tried to give you some storage, but it did raise the refrigerator a little bit. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's too high for most people? Are you okay with the height? That way you don't have to bend down to grab a lot of things, and then you get that usable drawer. Or again, would you rather have it how a lot of other manufacturers have it, where you kind of have that dead space right up top? Let me know in the comments. I do want to kind of discuss to see what everyone thinks. You'll also see right here, mirrored medicine cabinet. They kind of have like a split bath in this floor plan, right? So you have your shower and toilet right back here. Sink is going to be outside of that, which I really like. And then you have a bed in a slide out. This is a split mattress. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But the reason I like this is because if I'm in here doing what I have to do, my wife can still be out here, and she can be getting ready or brushing teeth or whatever else. I like having the secondary sink. I have seen some that rather than having this set up, just have extra storage space, but then you have to use the kitchen to wash hands, and I'm just not about that life. That's not for me. But again, let me know. Maybe that's not a big deal to most people. Maybe I'm just weird. The toilet itself, again, porcelain bowl. They're not putting plastic in here, which I would hope not at, this price point for any Class C. But, again, it is an upgraded bowl. It's going to stay nice. You have the robe hooks right up top, perfect for towels. And then if I take a step in the shower, let's take a look at height here. You can see I have plenty of headroom, especially with this skylight. I mean, shoot, you could be probably 6'4" and still be able to stand in here. And the skylight covers basically the entire shower, which is wonderful. You also have the upgraded hand wand right here, some additional shelving there too. You know, kind of the basics that you're going to want for your shower. You will see that it has the shower door that is built in. So that way you can just kind of close it like so. And that's going to work. It's a small space, right? You don't want like a swing door. You certainly don't want a curtain when you're talking about, you know, paying for any kind of Class C. Even though this one is going to be more affordable than a lot of others out there. It's certainly not entry level, but I think that door works well and it's antimicrobial. If we take a look at the windows here, you do get some good window space in the in the bedroom, letting in some natural light. Obviously, I have them closed. Now, again, we'll take a look at this a little bit more when we go outside, but I really like these windows. A lot of manufacturers are starting to put these in. It's going to be a square window, but I haven't seen many in a Class C. I see most of them in a fifth wheel. What you'll see is that you kind of have your screen down below and then your shade up top. Now, it's just magnetic. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. There we go. So that does separate like so. So if you actually, you know, just want to let in all the natural light, you can do that. But they do give you the option here. The other thing I like is when this is shut, and again, we'll see this when I go outside, but on the back side, it's actually going to be reflective to help reflect heat and keep heat out to keep your coach a little bit cooler. Also to aid in that, you will see the ducted AC. So you have a 15,000 BTU AC. That one does have a heat pump on it as well. So, you know, if it's just starting to get chilly, definitely not freezing, but, you know, if you're like 50 degrees or something, you can turn that heat pump on for a little bit of electric heat. That is always a nice feature. Again, something that a lot of Class Cs don't normally come with. Right down here, it's going to be your electrical outlet as well as a USB port. If you're like me and you have a CPAP machine, you'll appreciate that. I also love an actual nightstand here for, you know, because I always have a bottle of water by my bed. You can put a bottle of water there. Again, space for the CPAP machine, and you have the drawer underneath. So you just have good overall storage. Speaking of drawers, we take a look at the dinette. As you'd expect, this does drop down into a bed. It is legless. I really do like that. It just makes it a lot more usable, a lot easier to get in and out. And then the drawers right down here, well, have some trash in that one. But as you can see, these are going to be 24 inches or 2 feet deep. Pretty darn good drawer space on a dinette. And again, those are going to be soft close. You have a couple seat belts here for some additional riders. And then your main control panel will be located right over here. Now, if we take a look, you can see that you do have the generator on this one, as you'd expect. And then again, all of your lights as well as your tank monitoring panel, your thermostat for your AC will be right over there. Storage across the top coming up front. This is going to be the Cabover bed. Now, I believe the weight capacity on here is 500 pounds. So it's not the highest in the industry, not the lowest either. You know, I think 500 is a good number. You should easily be able to sleep 2 adults up there for the most part. And then you can see that you have, again, windows on both sides. If you can see behind the TV for good cross ventilation, and you have the TV up here. The thing I like about this TV, folks, is this one is going to be 12 volt. And where you would use that, right, is if you, let's say it's quiet hours and you can't run the generator, you can use the 12 volt TV, right? It just runs off the batteries, and that's something that you a lot of times can't get. Now, it does have inverter prep too, so there are some other options. You know, if you want to have other outlets and things work, again, it does have that inverter prep. But you'll also see one more thing I want to talk about that I missed is this right here. That is a tankless water heater. So you do have essentially limitless on-demand hot water. We'll hit the cab real quick, and then I'll show you the outside. Oh, shoot, actually, forgot to show you this. This is cool too. You do have some cup holders as well as a little bit of storage there. Then you can see you have USB ports built in there as well. Then if we drop down to the cab, let me sit right over here. I'll kind of turn this on. I just want to show you the dash here. The thing I do like about this coach that not all have, right, is the fact that when you turn the coach on, your head unit turns on. There's a lot of manufacturers that because the head unit controls so much more than just what you have in the coach, that it actually has to have the battery disconnect on, and that's not the case with this one at all. And you can see right here, right, if I go home, this one is Sirius XM radio, Bluetooth, as you would expect. You have your backup camera. Hey, take a look at that. And this one is Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto Ready, so you do have those options. You also have both USB A and C right down here, as well as your 110 right over to the side. And then, of course, you know, our standard Ford chassis console. Now, the thing, I say standard Ford chassis, okay, but here's something I want you to realize. While, yes, it is a Ford E450, so it's nothing that's super groundbreaking. To have that on this floor plan, right, on something that is under 24 foot, is something that we normally don't see. A lot of times, again, because it's going to be price point sensitive on a smaller Class C, they go to a 350. But that's not the case here. You get the big 450, you get the suspension and everything. This has a 7,500 pound tow hitch, which we'll go and see in the back in just a minute. But as we kind of take a look at the coach itself, what you'll notice is, hey, this isn't white. This is black. Yeah, that's because this comes standard. The College Avenue comes standard with partial paint. That is why this looks so sharp. And that's just a couple things for you, folks. I mean, one, again, having it right straight from the factory, having that partial paint, not only does that look amazing, it's going to hold up better, but in order to paint a coach, some people may not know this, you actually have to upgrade the fiberglass. So you're not paying for the $10,000 full body paint job, right? You're getting partial paint, which is much less expensive. And when I say partial, what I mean is all this is painted, right? Like this coach is still painted. The coach, the body, all this, it's just the white is not going to be painted. That is going to be your fiberglass. But anytime you paint a coach, you have to upgrade the fiberglass or else the paint won't hold. So that means that this gets the Lamelux 4000, which is one of the highest end fiberglasses you can put on a coach because it has the paint option straight from the factory. That is huge. Along with that, behind that is going to be Asdel composite. So yeah, you're not going to have to worry about delamination. You have one of the best fiberglasses out there. You have the composite panels behind that. You have a coach that is going to be, mid-price point, again, not entry level, but very affordable, and it is going to last. It has everything that you would want. Taking a look right over here, you do get the outside TV hookups. Storage on this particular floor plan isn't massive. You don't have a ton, but I do like the fact that you have, again, a composite in here, so it is nice and easy to wash out. I like the latches as well. Some of my favorite latches, actually, they just work extremely well. They are going to be slam latch, and again, like I said, not huge compartments, but we have those there. Up top is going to be the awning that we saw when we were inside. That, of course, has an LED light strip on there. And then as we come around to the back, as I promised, right there is our hitch. So this is rated for 7,500 pounds. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that is 7,500 pounds for this hitch. Now, our cargo carrying capacity, I think, is like a little over 2,000 pounds. I'd have to double check. But I believe if you have this fully loaded, it was somewhere around 6,000 pounds you could still tow with this, which is super good. I mean, again, especially for being really small, super good. Wow, good vocabulary, Ian. But that's pretty great, honestly, of being able to have, still be able to tow 6,000 pounds when this is fully loaded. Again, most coaches can't necessarily do that. You'll also see right back here, that is going to be our propane quick connect. So that, if you have a grill or anything you want to slap on here, you can. Taking a look, there is a ladder so you can climb up on the fully walkable roof. So you can take a look up there. Again, this one does have the optional solar panel. And then kind of right up in that rear tail light, that is going to be our backup camera. Now the windows, I did want to talk about these. So as you can see, not only are they square, but you can see the silver reflective material on the back of that shade, right? Again, that's going to help keep things nice and cool. I think that is really great that they put it in here. It's the first Class C I've seen that has used them. I'm not saying it's the only manufacturer that do, but that is the first time I've seen it on a Class C. Another thing you'll notice right up on top of the slide out, there is going to be a slide topper. So any sticks, pine cones, anything that fall down on there, when you push that slide in, those are just going to come right off. Another thing about up top that you don't see is going to be the roof. This one has the Alphaply TPO roof on it, which is going to be one of the best roofs currently out there, barring fiberglass, right? And I'm not talking, the molded fiberglass is obviously going to be the best, but you're just not going to get that on a Class C price point, right? The molded is going to be for your big Class A's. Anyway, again, a little bit more storage. Now, this one you can see is not composite, but it is going to be nice and big. That is going to be underneath that bed slide, so you get all that additional storage space. Something else that I really like is the fact you have a light right here for nice, easy hookup. You have your water connection, so you can see your black tank flush there, city water inlet as well as fresh, and you have a spray port, cable and satellite over here, and then this is going to be the tankless water heater. Propane right down here, and then the generator. Now, I believe, let me kind of open it up here. I believe it's a 4,500 on this one. Let's see. Yes, that is what we have. So you're looking right there. That is going to be the 4,500. So that way, you know, again, you can power basically everything in the coach. One of the things I didn't point out or talk about, this one also has Starlink prep, which is pretty cool. So it's going to be for one of the portable units, which I like, because that way, you know, if you ever get a different RV or whatever, you can just take it with you. But you basically can just plug it in one of the storage compartments. Then actually in the TV is where your router essentially is going to be mounted. So again, I think this is a fantastic coach. This is the brand new line from East to West. I really like it. I want to know what you guys think, right? Tell me about it. 'Cause again, it's coming out. You know, we have the ability to talk to them, maybe make some good changes here. It's a very well-known floor plan, but I think that the price point it hits is exactly what is needed. And the features that it comes with makes it a great value. So let me know. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker. Until next time, we'll see ya.